the main focus of this video is going to be explaining what you need for an E36 drift car. Now, a lot of people will have their mixed opinions as expected, but if you're like me and you just want to go out and have fun and have a good time, obviously you don't need much. So without further ado, let's get into it. Basically, I would just say don't get 318. Any 6-cylinder manual BMW will do the job. Doesn't matter if you have an M50 car with a get rag or an M52 with a ZF. I mean, at the end of the day, a 6-cylinder BMW is a must. Don't waste your time with the 318 because, I mean, to each their own, but in the long run, you're gonna end up swapping it out anyways. Okay, so let's say you got your car now. You're probably thinking, what do I need next? You know, what do I need to go sideways? Obviously, everybody knows you need a welded diff, but let's talk about ratios real quick. So my car has a 391 open, or it was an open diff, and now it's welded. A 391 comes out of all the auto chassis. Personally, if you have an NA powered car, that's probably what I would recommend going with, because it's a shorter ratio. You do have more acceleration, you do have a lower top speed, but you're off the line, you're fast every time. A lot of people also run a 315. 315 is good for more so like longer tracks that you need speed, but I've always had a 391. Personally, I love it, and if someone was asking what to get, that's what I would recommend. All right, so you got your car, you got your diff. Next, you need suspension. A lot of people will tell you, you know, don't get this over that, buy these over these. At the end of the day, I've seen people run max speeding rods on all their cars. I don't know, I'm not too crazy for them. I've never had a need to run them, but any coilover is gonna do the job. If you're trying to get sideways and trying to have fun, you don't need to go crazy with your money. This car has God speeds. I'd say they're like, I think they're like $600-700. Nothing crazy though. But you don't need anything, you know, fancy. You know, anything that obviously lowers the car, lowers center of gravity, it's gonna do the job for you. You just don't want body roll. If you have body roll, it's gonna be hard because I feel like you're gonna be fighting the car the whole time. But I mean, go with whatever you can. I mean, if you're on a budget, go with max speeding rods, go with Racelands. You don't need anything crazy. If you want to spend money on BCs, by all means go for it, but coilovers are definitely an important mod. So next, moving on, handbrake system. It is a great tool to have, and it is a great tool to utilize, especially if you're tandeming with your friends. You definitely would need it, I would say. Also would be, you know, a good tool to have if you need to extend a corner or essentially, you know, correct yourself. Basically, it is a stock e-brake setup with a NerbTech handle on it. Basically, the rotor shoes are tightened up a bit, as well as the cables, but to be honest, it'll work for a while. You're gonna have to do a lot of maintenance if you want to keep that as a system. I put new shoes and new cables in it, but I mean, I lasted 6 events, put new cables, put new shoes, and then I came to see that the rotors were actually scored so bad on the inside, even with those new parts, it would still not lock up. So if you're gonna go with it, I would probably go with the hydro. I'm honestly gonna do it myself in the near future, but like I said, not something you need, it's something that helps. So now that you got your car, you got your diff, suspension, handbrake, we're gonna talk about bushings. Now, bushings I believe are very, very important because simply these cars are super old. In today's age, I mean, what are they, like 30-year-old cars now? Yeah, they're over 30 years old now. I mean, like, these cars are so old. You're gonna have these rubber bushings that are not gonna last you for anything at these events. They're not gonna feel good. You're not gonna be able to drive your car hard knowing that it's falling apart. Bushings are a must. Now, if you have a 328, 325, 323, I'd also recommend you reinforce the subframe because a lot of these chassis don't have the subframe reinforcement plates like the M3s do. So if you want to drive your car knowing that it's basically bulletproof, definitely get the plates, get the bushings, go with poly. That's what I run. All right, so the last thing I would recommend, which is probably the first thing I'd put on your to-do list underneath a welded diff, is angle mods. Now, you don't really need anything crazy if you're just going out to have fun. My car only has 2 pieces that give me more angle than I'll ever need for probably a long time.
It's kind of hard to see up in here, but I just installed these drift adapter plates. They're made by a company in Poland named CNC71.
Basically what these do is they just move the position of your control arm and your tie rod. They give you more of a track. They give you a bigger... Jeez. I gotta sit down after that. What I was trying to say is they give you more track width, more angle. Obviously, they move the position of the control arm and the tie rod. And surprisingly, it lowered my car about an inch or so. So I'd say definitely go with, you know, something simple. That I think was $150, and it's more angle than I'll ever need for probably a really long time. Don't get me wrong, there's probably a lot of things I don't know. There's probably a lot of things I didn't cover, but this is going off my personal experience, you know, what I've learned in my years with these cars. And dude, what is that? Hold on a minute, what? If you like the video, please subscribe, leave a comment, you know, leave a like, leave a dislike. Doesn't bother me at all. And see you in the next one.